Did you know Kamala Harris once tried to jail a reporter for doing his job? Today we delve into the troubling history of Kamala Harris and her use of lawfare against journalist David Daleiden. In 2015, pro-life journalist David Daleiden released a series of undercover videos featuring Planned Parenthood executives discussing the sale of fetal body parts. The videos sparked significant controversy and debate surrounding the ethics of Planned Parenthood's practices. Daleiden's footage showed executives speaking in a seemingly nonchalant manner.
We've been very good at getting parts on because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get it intact.
David Daleiden, through his organization, the Center for Medical Progress, used undercover tactics.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
The footage released by Daleiden was graphic and disturbing, leading to intense reactions from both sides of the political spectrum. Supporters of Planned Parenthood accused Daleiden of manipulating the footage and conducting a smear campaign, while opponents saw it as a damning indictment of the organization's practices. Enter Kamala Harris, who was serving as California's Attorney General at the time. Rather than investigating the allegations against Planned Parenthood, Harris decided to target Daleiden. She initiated a raid on his home, during which law enforcement officers seized computers, hard drives, and other materials related to his undercover investigation. This move was widely criticized as an attempt to silence a journalist for exposing uncomfortable truths. The raid on Daleiden's home marked a significant escalation in the conflict between pro-life activists and Planned Parenthood supporters. Many saw Harris's actions as a clear misuse of her authority, aimed at protecting a powerful organization rather than upholding the law impartially. The raid and subsequent legal actions against Daleiden highlighted the contentious nature of the debate over abortion and the role of investigative journalism in uncovering unethical practices. The legal and ethical implications of Harris's actions are profound. Critics argue that by targeting Daleiden, Harris set a dangerous precedent for the treatment of journalists and whistleblowers. Her decision to prosecute Daleiden raised questions about her commitment to transparency and accountability. Was she using her power to protect Planned Parenthood, a major political ally, at the expense of journalistic freedom? Daleiden was charged with multiple felonies related to his undercover work, including conspiracy and falsifying government documents. The charges were seen by many as politically motivated, aimed at discrediting Daleiden and deterring other journalists from pursuing similar investigations. Harris's decision to focus on Daleiden rather than the content of the videos he produced led to widespread criticism from free speech advocates and pro-life organizations. The case against Daleiden drew significant attention and outrage from various groups, who saw this as an attack on free speech and journalistic freedom. Organizations such as the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, and the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press expressed concern over the implications of prosecuting a journalist for his investigative work. They argued that Harris's actions set a dangerous precedent that could be used to silence dissent and suppress important investigations. In her defense, Harris argued that Daleiden had violated the law by using false identities and fraudulently gaining access to private meetings. She maintained that the prosecution was not about suppressing free speech, but about upholding the law. However, this explanation did little to quell the outrage among those who saw her actions as politically motivated. Harris's handling of the Daleiden case has had lasting repercussions on her political career. As she rose to national prominence, her actions as California Attorney General have been scrutinized by both supporters and critics. For some, her willingness to use her office to pursue legal action against a journalist raises questions about her commitment to civil liberties and the protection of free speech. By prosecuting Daleiden, Harris showed her willingness to use her office to protect powerful interests and punish those who expose uncomfortable truths. This raises serious concerns about her approach to governance and her priorities as a public official. Should a public official use their power to target those who challenge the status quo, or should they uphold the principles of transparency and accountability? The broader implications of this case extend beyond Kamala Harris and David Daleiden. It highlights the risks faced by investigative journalists and whistleblowers who seek to expose unethical practices. The use of lawfare, legal actions intended to intimidate and silence against journalists, is a troubling trend that undermines the role of the press in holding powerful entities accountable. The public reaction to Harris's actions was intense.
Abortions.
Clearly, momentum is on our side. The majority of Americans agree that taxpayer dollars should not be funding abortion.
These protests highlighted the deep divisions in American society over issues of abortion, journalistic freedom, and the role of government in regulating both. The legal battles between Daleiden and the state of California continued for several years. In 2020, Daleiden and his colleague Sandra Merritt faced additional charges in California, including felony counts of conspiracy and illegal recording. These ongoing legal challenges underscore the contentious and politically charged nature of the case. The outcomes of these legal battles have significant implications for both sides. For Daleiden and his supporters, the charges represent a sustained effort to punish and deter investigative journalism. For Harris and her supporters, the case is framed as a necessary enforcement of the law to protect privacy and prevent fraud. Kamala Harris has largely avoided addressing the controversy in detail during her subsequent political campaigns. Her focus has been on her accomplishments and future policy goals rather than her past actions as Attorney General. However, the case continues to be a point of contention for those who question her commitment to civil liberties and free speech. To summarize, the case of David Daleiden and Kamala Harris is a stark example of the tensions between investigative journalism and political power. Harris's actions against Daleiden raise important questions about the use of legal authority to silence dissent and protect powerful interests. The broader implications for journalism and free speech cannot be ignored. So what do you think, folks? Did Kamala Harris abuse her power to silence a journalist, or was she simply upholding the law? Are we witnessing a dangerous trend of using legal actions to suppress investigative reporting? Comment below and let us know your thoughts on this controversial case.